Apparently, there will not be another presidential debate. I'm sure you watched Kamala Harris and Donald Trump on Tuesday. This has been on again, off again. He says it's not going to happen. What are you laughing at?
I'm sorry. I did not know that that's where you were going with this. Listen, even a blind man could see that it was a man down situation the other day during the debate. You know, one of the phrases that we use as a colloquialism is that we snatch wigs. Well, I'm just telling you, he got his toupee snatched. And so regardless of what type of spinning he's going to try to do, it is clear that he knows that this is a woman that he literally just cannot measure up to. And so absolutely, he doesn't want to go another round because if he didn't think he was knocked down before, he would absolutely recognize it if he went for another round with her.
You know someone got wrecked when the only thing left behind is their pride and their toothpaste. Trump is now bailing on the second debate with Kamala, and Crockett calls it exactly what it is, a man-down situation. She didn't just say he lost, she said his wig got snatched, his toothpaste got snatched, and probably his polling too. And let's be real, Trump only avoids the ring when he knows the rematch would be worse than the original, because even he understands there's no comeback strategy when you're out-talked, outclassed, and outmatched by a woman who doesn't flinch. This isn't strategy, it's retreat in real time.
You know, the lack of cohesiveness on that side is why this has been the most unproductive Congress. People all over X and everything is like, well, they don't deserve anything. They're so unproductive. Let me tell you, the people that y'all keep putting in charge are the reason that we are unproductive, because they don't understand how to govern. And honestly, they don't even have a will to govern. And the fact that they are allowing somebody who basically is a shadow president to come out and tell them what to do, including Donald Trump, because listen, we know that Elon, as they have touted about how they need to get rid of the immigrants. Let me be clear. Elon cannot become president of the United States because he is an immigrant who has gained U.S. citizenship later on in life. So he's not qualified to be, or he's not allowed to be under our Constitution. So instead, he decided that he was going to buy a president. And right now, he is pulling all the strings on Trump.
Here's what happens when you elect people who don't want to govern. You get chaos, culture wars, and zero legislation. Crockett calls it straight. This Congress isn't unproductive by accident. It's unproductive by design, because the people running it either don't know how to govern or don't care to. And behind it all, you've got a shadow president, Trump, calling the shots from Mar-a-Lago. And Elon, he can't be president himself, so he bought the next best thing, a puppet with polling problems. This isn't democracy, it's billionaire cosplay. And America's being played by guys who treat the Constitution like a terms of service agreement they never read.
Yell your name, Crockett, over and over. And then they're going to bring Crockett.
I actually had not watched the clip. That's my very first time. My team was aware.
And what does Crockett think of that clip?
I mean, it says a lot when you literally are supposed to be the leader of the free world and you're worried about a rising sophomore in the House.
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
Yeah. Or you wish she was on your side. He also called you low IQ. I'm sure you're aware of that. Would you be willing to take an IQ test publicly, head-to-head against the President of the United States?
Absolutely.
Trump keeps yelling Crockett like he's stuck in a political Groundhog Day. And she hadn't even seen the clip, because unlike Trump, she has a job. When she finally watches it, her response is basically, "You're president, and I live rent-free in your head?" That's wild. Then comes the low IQ jab, classic Trump, always punching down, especially when he's losing ground. But Crockett, she doesn't flinch. She just says, let's test it, publicly. And that, my friends, is what we call a kill shot in 2 syllables.
The fact that we have Americans that are waking up and saying, wait a minute, are you saying that tariffs are going to negatively impact me? Are you saying that we're going to have to pay for this? It's kind of like that wall that we're still waiting on Mexico to build, right? That they're going to pay for it. No, we're going to pay for it. We're going to be the ones that are suffering. And for those that thought that inflation was bad, even though it has come down, even though that it is honestly, cooled off here a lot quicker than it cooled off in the rest of the world, let me just tell you, it's time to buckle up, Buttercup, because it is about to be on and popping if for some reason he gets half of this done. And right now, looking at the henchmen that he is trying to put into his administration, we are on track to see a lot of these negative things impact our economy.
Here's your reminder. Tariffs don't punish China. They punish your grocery bill. Crockett breaks it down plain and simple. Trump's old playbook of Mexico will pay for the wall turned into America pays twice with taxes and lies. Now he's back, floating more tariffs, more isolation, and more economic chaos. Americans are finally waking up and asking, wait, we're the ones paying? Yeah, you always were. And if you think inflation has been rough, she warns, get ready, because if Trump gets even half his agenda through, you're not just buckling up, you're bracing for impact. And judging by the goons he's lining up to run the economy, this isn't a reboot, it's a rerun of the worst season. It's retreat in real time.
Fire, fire, fire is what I heard. And as I heard fire, it seems like we are talking about an administration that has been hell-bent on firing government workers. They are hell-bent on engaging in fire sales of our government buildings. And while we are at it, they are lighting the Social Security on fire, Medicaid on fire, Medicare on fire, 401ks on fire, Department of Education on fire. And instead, what we need to light on fire are Trump's tariffs. Let's talk about the fact that as of March 30th, Trump's golfing has cost us approximately $26 million. And the last time I checked, we're not getting anything in return for that. So I will get back on my remarks, but I just wanted to point out that maybe we need to talk about the president and his golfing habits.
If it's public, Trump wants to set it on fire. Social Security? Burn it. Medicare? Gone. 401ks, education, the safety net? He's not reforming. It's a controlled demolition. And while everything burns, what stays fully funded? His golf cart. As of March, taxpayers have coughed up $26 million for Trump's tea time, and we haven't seen a single stroke of policy in return. We're watching an administration that fires government workers, sells off federal buildings, and calls it patriotism, when really, it's just a fire sale with a golden logo on top. And somehow, the only green he's preserving is on the golf course.
This is not what we should be doing. I don't even know why we fighting with Greenland. Why we fighting with Greenland? We fighting with Canada. We fighting with Mexico. Yet we in love with Putin. What is happening? Like, this is not America. This is a terrible nightmare. Somebody slap me and wake me the up, because I'm ready to get on with.
When your foreign policy looks like a game of spin the globe blindfolded, maybe it's time to ask who's running the show. We're beefing with Canada, side-eyeing Greenland, antagonizing Mexico, and meanwhile, MAGA is writing love letters to Putin. This isn't strategy, it's Stockholm Syndrome in a red hat. And Crockett nails what millions feel. This isn't America. It's a fever dream where allies become enemies and dictators get dinner invites. If this is leadership, somebody better hit snooze, because we're way past the nightmare phase.
He's a 78-year-old, lifelong predator, fraudster, and cheat, known for inciting violent mobs. She's lived the American dream while he's been America's nightmare. America, looking at the two choices before you, who would you hire? Donald Trump or Kamala Harris? Kamala Harris has a resume. Donald Trump has a rap sheet. She presides over the Senate while he keeps our national secrets next to his thinking chair. Y'all know what I said that other time.
This isn't a political ad, it's a job interview. One candidate has served as a senator, attorney general, and vice president. The other has served subpoenas, indictments, and 4 years of chaos. Kamala Harris presides over the Senate. Donald Trump presides over a stack of classified documents next to his recliner. And while Kamala's been working, Trump's been working the system. One brings a resume, the other brings a rap sheet. So America, the question isn't who's louder, it's who's legally allowed to show up for the job.
He's running scared. We know that Donald Trump doesn't have anything to offer the American people as it relates to policy and telling them something about how he's going to better their lives, because the only plan that Donald Trump and MAGA has for the American people is Project 2025. And we know that now that we have exposed Project 2025, he wants to run away from it because there's nothing good about it. So no, he doesn't want to answer the hard questions. That's why he had such a hard issue when it came for him to go to NABJ, right? He had actual journalism in his face, and he doesn't know how to deal with that. And we all know that every time he has to come in front of a prosecutor, it usually doesn't go very well for him. So Donald knows that every time he has to face a prosecutor, he loses. And he knows that right now, he is in a position to get lost. And listen, I cannot wait until the American people tell him peace and kick him out again.
You can always spot a con when he starts dodging his own blueprint. Trump says he wants to lead again, but runs like hell every time facts enter the room. He doesn't talk about policy because he doesn't have any. His one plan, Project 2025, reads like a dystopian Netflix script. And now that voters are catching on, he's sprinting from it like it's subpoena season. He ducked NABJ because real journalists ask real questions, and that's his kryptonite. And let's not forget, every time he walks into a courtroom, he walks out one step closer to conviction. He's not campaigning, he's stalling. And come November, America won't just say no, we'll say again, bye.
This idea of I don't know when she turned black, sir, because we know that if she would have applied to be in one of you and your daddy's apartments, y'all would have put a little C by it and she wouldn't have made the cut. So like just cut it. Like, let's stop playing. And so now we get to JD Vance when he picks a VP running mate, and he also picked another loser, right? Like, because now the single cat ladies are coming for their ticket. Like, I mean, this guy is a loser. And I just need America to step up one more time and remind him, just like they reminded him 4 years ago, that he's a loser and he is only good for entertainment. But when it comes to running this country, we need someone who is serious and who is qualified. And the only person in this race that is serious and qualified is the black woman, and her name is Kamala, for those that have a problem with trying to understand how to actually pronounce her name.
You know what's wild? The same people questioning when Kamala Harris became black enough would have denied her housing in the 70s with a little C on her application for colored. That's not political critique. That's generational racism in a red tie. Then J.D. Vance steps in, Trump's VP pick, a man whose biggest credential is Trump likes him, and whose biggest threat is single women with cats. Crockett calls it like it is. Entertainment value isn't leadership. Twitter clout doesn't build bridges or balance budgets. And when it comes to who's qualified, it's the one person they keep trying to discredit. Her name is Kamala. Learn it, spell it, get used to it, with a 9-iron.
As far as I'm concerned, he's a lot less criminal than the person that's sitting in the White House. Because last time I checked, he doesn't have any criminal convictions. I don't even think he has any outstanding cases versus the guy that still had cases pending when he was sworn in on January 20th and also has 34 felony convictions. So listen, I don't want to hear anything from the Republican Party about how they're trying to keep us safe when their fearless leader is actually the biggest criminal thus far that we have seen, because I haven't seen anybody with a rap sheet that looks like the president's.
Nothing says law and order like worshiping a guy with 34 felonies and counting. Crockett puts it plain. Joe Biden doesn't have a criminal record. Trump, on the other hand, showed up to the presidency with legal baggage and left with a felony sampler pack. And the same party that screams about keeping America safe can't even keep their nominee out of court. If Trump's the model citizen, then the bar isn't just low, it's underground. And maybe, just maybe, we should stop pretending that the party of indictments knows anything about justice.
It's more racism. Because essentially what you're saying is that black people, we know y'all know all about going to jail. To be clear, this guy has 34 felonies. I've never been arrested for a traffic ticket. I do want to be clear that there are black folk that haven't actually experienced jail. I have been in jail, obviously, as a former criminal defense attorney. But I do want to be clear that, as Kendrick Lamar says, they are not like us. He is not like us. So for my clients, I've never had one that had this many charges pending against them, but I've never had anybody come close to him and somehow still be walking free pre-trial. That's not how we get treated when we end up getting locked up.
Only in America could a man with 34 felony charges get compared to black communities just because he's finally facing accountability. Crockett shuts that narrative down. She's been inside courtrooms. She's represented real people, and none of them had 34 felonies and walked free. That's not how justice works for regular folks. Trump isn't just like us. He's nothing like us. He's not a symbol of criminal justice reform. He's a symbol of what happens when power, wealth, and whiteness combine. And no matter how many mugshots he takes, he'll never understand what it means to be treated like the rest of us. What do you think? Is the justice system broken or just unfairly selective depending on who you are?
You've not met Donald Trump, right?
No.
I feel like he likes you.
No.
I do. Because I think, see, I don't think he would ever admit it, but I think when somebody's aggressive and funny, they hit his radar, and he did speak about you once.
How about this new one they have, their new star, Crockett? How about her? Is that real? Are they serious about that? That's their new star? If that's their new star, they're in serious trouble. I mean, this is Crockett. Oh, man. But we've done a job, but they've totally lost their confidence. And it's a hard thing when you lose your confidence. But they've taken a lot of beatings, and now they're going to rely on Crockett to bring them back.
Trump's radar only picks up two things: threats to his ego and women who don't flinch. So yeah, Crockett shows up in 4K. He says her name like he's summoning a ghost or reliving a trauma. Crockett. Oh man. Bro, you sound like you just saw your tax returns. He asks if she's real. Yes, Donald, she's a member of Congress. The only thing imaginary here is your grip on reality. And when he says Democrats are relying on Crockett, it's not the own he thinks it is. Because if one rising congresswoman rattles you this hard, you're not running a campaign. You're running scared.
We are going to talk about efficiency and worry about some solar paneled whatevers. Let's talk about the fact that as of March 30th, Trump's golfing has cost us approximately $26 million. And the last time I checked, we're not getting anything in return for that. So I will get back on my remarks, but I just wanted to point out that maybe we need to talk about the president and his golfing habits. In fact, he decided that he was going to golf as the markets were tanking. He decided he was going to golf instead of receiving 4 heroes who died serving this country. He has decided that he wanted to play games while the rest of us are really trying to make sure that we can serve the American people.
This isn't just about golf. It's about priorities. While the market crashed, Trump teed off. While 4 American heroes came home in caskets, he stayed on the green. And while the country was desperate for leadership, he chose leisure over duty. $26 million in taxpayer-funded golf. And what do we have to show for it? Nothing, except a clear picture of a man more invested in his handicap than in his country. You can't call yourself commander-in-chief when you duck the fallen and ghost the living. That's not leadership. It's escapism with a 9-iron.
Well, he did say he'd be a dictator on day one. Oh, Democrats, it's just Trump. He just talks. Well, let me tell you something. He is doing more than talking. We talked about Project 2025. We talked about the consolidation of power. We talked about how he wanted to be a king. We talked about in a democratic republic, that is not what it is. We have some sort of checks and balances, and he is doing everything that he can to get rid of those checks and balances. The DOJ and the people that he's going after were simply doing their jobs. The problem is that Americans thought that it was okay to take a full-fledged criminal and make him the president of the United States, and then they want to act aghast when he does criminal things. Let me tell you, we have a thug in charge of the United States, and if we don't wake up, we may not have a United States, because right now he has only been successful in being a divider-in-chief.
Here's the thing. When someone says they want to be a dictator, maybe we should believe them. Trump isn't joking. He's laying the groundwork. From Project 2025 to gutting checks and balances, this isn't about making America great. It's about making himself untouchable. And Crockett cuts through the noise. This isn't politics as usual. This is a man openly plotting to erase the system that keeps power in check. the DOJ, the courts, the rule of law. He's not above it. He's targeting it. And what's worse, too many Americans still treat him like a reality TV star, not the reality-threatening figure he is. When you elect a criminal and act shocked that he breaks laws, that's not naivety, that's national negligence. And if we don't wake up fast, we won't just lose democracy, we'll lose the illusion we ever had one. Do you think Trump's push for absolute power is a real threat, or just political drama? Let us know where you stand.
I was curious to know, as we're talking about lawyers and the obligations of lawyers, and whether or not maybe the former president has any idea of what good lawyer obligations look like. Are you aware as to whether or not any of them have faced criminal penalties?
Yes, and also been disbarred or suspended.
Oh, yeah, okay. So they've had some issues, but these are the hand-picked lawyers for Trump. I'm assuming that y'all have never been Trump lawyers, Mr. Trusty or Mr. Costello.
No, I was for a year.
Oh, you were? And you still have your bar card?
I'm sorry?
You still have your bar card?
Yeah, well, unless I get targeted for daring to represent a former president.
You have absolutely done a lot better than most that deal with him. So good for you.
Only in Trump world is still has a law license considered an achievement. Crockett doesn't even raise her voice. She just asks, politely, if the guy still has his bar card. And the fact that he does, that's headline worthy, because most of Trump's legal team ends up indicted, disbarred, or disgraced. She's not mocking lawyers. She's exposing a pattern. If Trump handpicked you, odds are your courtroom career ended with sirens. And in this administration, the real red flag isn't who Trump sues. It's who agrees to defend him.
President would not go and participate in anything if fact-checking was going to be a part of it. Instead, we're pushing conspiracy theories, and some of them are killing people. It is time for us to say, Mr. President, guess what? Russia invaded Ukraine. Can we at least agree on that one? Y'all, this is literally potentially putting us into an international crisis. We may be heading towards the next world war because we have a president that wants to pal around with Putin, including lying about who invaded who. Is there anybody in here that has enough courage to say that Russia invaded Ukraine?
When the president won't show up to anything involving fact-checking, that's not a campaign, that's cowardice. Because in Trump's world, truth isn't something you stand on, it's something you hide from. And now we've got elected officials pushing conspiracy theories, not just for votes, but at the cost of real lives. So let's start here. Russia invaded Ukraine. Can we at least agree on that? If you can't even say those words out loud, you're not just afraid, you're part of the lie. Because this isn't just some talking point. It's the kind of denial that drags nations into conflict. And when you cozy up to Putin and twist reality to protect him, that's not America first. That's propaganda first. And silence in the face of that is complicity in plain sight. Why do you think some politicians still can't admit that Russia invaded Ukraine? Fear, loyalty, or something worse?